Images of the far side of the moon, captured by a Chinese probe. And with that, China has made history, making the first ever landing in that area. The touchdown of the Chang'e 4 probe is the most significant success of the Chinese space program so far. But China has even more ambitious plans for the future. It aims to catch up with, or even surpass, the US and Russia in the next decade by building a lunar palace and sending probes and rovers to Mars. So what's driving China's space mission? And why is it making the US so uneasy?
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The space race began over a half a century ago between the US and the Soviet Union. China didn't come into the picture until 2003, when Beijing launched the country's first manned space flight. But China is catching up fast, with the world's first quantum communications satellite, the world's largest radio telescope, and near completion of the Beidou satellite network, a rival to the US's GPS system. Beyond national pride, China hopes it can tap into huge resources in space and gain a strategic and economic edge over other countries.
飞一天梦啊，这是强国梦的重要组成部分。
China has set its sights on the moon's resources, including water, which can potentially be broken down into hydrogen and oxygen and used as rocket fuel. China also wants to set up a base on the moon, which analysts say would be an economical way to launch future deep space missions. During the Cold War, the space race was mostly about who could get there first. But analysts say for China, it's different. It's about going there, getting set up, building capacity, and possibly writing the rules.
What you will then go about doing is to establish norms, permission grants, which nation can come and access those resources by establishing institutions that give you permission and also adjudicate disputes.
China is also scheduled to deploy a space station by 2022, right before the US-led International Space Station is decommissioned. That means China's space station will be the only platform in Earth orbit in a few years' time. Analysts see this as Beijing's opportunity to establish its leadership in space. China's rise in space has led to worries in the US. Some American lawmakers are concerned that China could limit or even deny access to Americans in the long term, the same way the US has denied China access to the current space station. Or it could make the US military vulnerable.
Given the fact that the US military is so dependent on space assets for precision mission guided missiles, for GPS, for navigation, they're almost entirely dependent. So think of a situation where a Chinese ASAT capability targets that. That creates huge amount of vulnerability.
The US has revived its manned space program to the moon and Mars after letting it languish for years. The Trump administration wants to set up a new military command dedicated to space.
When it comes to defending America, it is not enough to merely have an American presence in space. We must have American dominance in space.
China's challenge in space has taken the American public by surprise, but it's now a force to be reckoned with. Competition between the world's two greatest powers is elevating in more ways than one.